You know what, Byron? We are often asked, how does it feel like to live in Africa on a daily basis, especially by Europeans and Americans who watch our show on the morning shot. So I thought to myself, I've just found a video that is a perfect analogy that might help elucidate how it feels to live in Africa. So here it is, and then we'll break it down. So, for context, that was the opening of a bridge in the Congo, and the politicians almost fell into the water because they built the bridge, and the very ribbon that they cut was basically the entire foundation for that particular bridge. And I thought this analogy works very well because in South Africa, it is held together by a piece of string. That piece of string is called the private sector. In some instances, the politicians are absolute morons. The foundations are extremely rickety, but overall, it is just funny to live here. Like every day is a bit of a joke, and that's what makes it so great.
Yeah, so I think there's the other side of it, which is also the other side of what it's like to live in Africa, and that is to constantly hear mediocrity and people that are clearly your intellectually inferior get cheered. Everybody's like, "Yay! Look at this bridge that we've just spent millions on. I'm sure it looks really, really not very good, but yay! They built a bridge. Cut, and then the bridge falls over." And the other thing that's really, really funny is how when the bridge starts to collapse, everybody leaves the politician on his own. They save the woman, but they're like, just let him fall down with the bridge. And that's another thing of what it's like to live in Africa.
Sorry, Byron, but there's your patriarchy speaking. That woman was the politician. I promise you.
I don't know.
I mean, she almost
So
stabbed
she,
the
so she
poor
was the
guy next to
politician,
her.
huh?
Yeah, she was a
But she
politician.
wasn't the one cutting the bridge.
So she's a politician for the province, and the chap in the suit is the politician for the region, and they did a dual thing to do the bridge.
Yeah, but
But
they just let him fall off the bridge, mate. Like he's a senior, and he's just like, just leave him. She's like, oh, grab her. Well, we need her. We want
yeah,
her.
yeah. So how much do you think this bridge cost? I'm thinking anywhere between 50 to $100 million.
Yeah, I think probably around that. What
Right.
do you reckon?
No, I think I'm about right in that. And the most
Mm.
interesting part is that this particular politician, I looked a bit deeper into it. She was very concerned because there was a wooden bridge across this particular stream. It's not really a river; it's a stream. And this wooden bridge was like in those playgrounds where you like walk over it standing up, and it's like just planks. And she
Yeah.
says this bridge is terrible. We need to upgrade it. So they built the second bridge next to it, and they had a grand opening, weeks of
And it fell
planning,
over.
and then it fell over when they cut the ribbon. And
And
that
they all went
ribbon,
back to the old bridge.
then they all went back to the old bridge. But that ribbon is so significant because that ribbon is what holds everything together. And once you cut it, it's gone. And particularly in South Africa, that ribbon is some elements of the private sector and some elements of civil society, right? But the analogy works like this: that ribbon is actually extremely fragile and
Yeah.
needs to be protected at all costs.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, this whole thing is interesting because the other part about Africa that we'll know from this video is that no one will be held accountable for that. They would have got paid for the bridge. The bridge would have get fallen over. All the politicians will have egg on their face, and nobody will ever talk about it again. And that'll be it until the next time.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully we live in a world where, there's TikTok and Instagram and shit like that because now people just film everything, right? Everyone's a journalist these days. Remember what the Americans say. Everyone's a journalist. Everyone's a content creator. There are downsides to that.
Everybody with a camera. As long as
Right.
you've got a phone, you got a camera. If you got a camera, makes you a journalist.
Yeah, but the downside to that is that it makes politicians look really dumb, finally, because they are,
Yeah.
for the most part, and they're only in it for themselves. But in the final analysis, as Afrikaners like to say, what we need to be worried about, of course, is that ribbon, right? I'm not saying we are sort of part of that ribbon as well, but that ribbon is so fragile, and as soon as that ribbon goes, everything goes. And we need to understand in Africa, what holds it together is not the foundations, it's not the politicians, it's not the infrastructure, it's not money. What holds it together is people doing stuff en masse, protecting themselves, creating alternatives to the state, etc., etc., etc. So in a South African context, that would be Sakariga, Solidarity, AfriForum, some elements of the Western Cape government who want to go at it alone. But as you can see, that's very, very fragile unless you support it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with all of that. I don't really have anything to add.
All right, well, there you go. The shortest video in Morning Shot history. So thank you for watching, everyone. And if you want to have a laugh, just go back to the first minute and replay that video. It is a hoot. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
Take it easy.